Tony Smith. He is going to be telling us about the Older Adult Home Modification Program. This is an initiative designed to help older adults remain safely and comfortably in their own homes. This program focuses on reducing falls, lowering safety risks, and improving mobility so seniors can continue aging in place with confidence. So welcome, Tony. Yeah.
Thank you, Susan. This is Tony. I have a tendency to talk loud and move around and get this microphone very close to my mouth and then very far away. So I apologize in advance to anyone who has difficulty hearing. If it starts to get too loud, you can give me the sign. You just wave or say, get quiet. Also, during this program, if you have questions, please stop me when you have the questions. Oftentimes, well, almost always, if you have a question, somebody else in here has that same question. So feel free to interrupt, raise your hand. If I don't see you, wave. If I don't see you, wave, throw, and then that should get my attention. So yeah, just a little bit about myself, how I came to be here. I have been an occupational therapist for 38 years. Most of that time I spent visiting people in their homes. Usually it was not the best time in someone's life when they met me. They had a hip or a shoulder or a stroke or a heart attack. But they had some kind of event that changed their ability to move around their home and take care of themselves, take care of whoever they had in charge, to take care of children, husbands, wives, grandparents. But my job was to go into the home and do what I could do to help restore the person's body, modify the environment so that they could function well while they were getting restored, or to make permanent modifications that would allow people to resume the roles that meant a lot to them, being a homemaker or being a farmer or both, or being a mother, taking care of children or taking care of their parents. So that is my job experience and how I came to get this job. So I'm here to speak about the current program that I am working with. I do work for Bluegrass Care Navigators, and they have multiple service lines, but this one in particular is a partnership between Bluegrass Care Navigators and Lexington Fayette Urban County Government. HUD, the Housing and Urban Development Program, that is a federal level program, became interested in what they could do to help people stay in their homes longer and stay in their homes more independently and more safely. Lots of people in government are coming to realize that we need different solutions to challenges that are facing healthcare, Medicare, Medicaid, and so they're trying to, throughout the government, come up with solutions that will help people both be happier, healthier, and a lot of times cost less in healthcare dollars to take care of people. So if we can make small changes in the home environment that allow people to be independent, to be safe, and to accomplish the things they need to accomplish, that will have the person stay healthier because they don't have to be removed from their home. It'll keep couples together, so everybody will be happier for the most part. My wife might speak differently sometimes, but when you're at home, typically it is a healthier, happier place. So that's how this program came to be. So I'm going to there's three things really that I need everybody to leave here with, three pieces of information, and I'm going to kind of sprinkle them throughout this talk. The program is it was a grant awarded to Lexington Fayette Urban County Government. So you have to live in Lexington to participate in this program. That's the first question you'll be asked when you call. the number for this program. The second question is you have to be over 62. So you have to be over 62 years old. I was going to say, well, in this room, you know, it looks like most of us are either approaching 62 or remember what 62 was like. So and I'm there myself. So you have to be over 62, and then your income has to meet a certain guideline. The guideline for income is, it's already stated exactly. Your income cannot be above 80% of the average median income of a household your size. So let's say you live in a house where it's you and your husband or wife. That's 2 people. So there's an amount that you can't make over. It would be $63,550. I don't want anybody to try to remember those numbers. Just understand that that will be a question that you are asked if you call and you want to access the program. So 3 questions. Do you live in Lexington? Are you over 62? And do you make less than a certain amount? And we'll tell you the amount when you call. So I'll be saying that's what I hope you leave here with, because if you all don't need this program, I am quite sure that you will know somebody who could benefit from it. So the program is, like I say, it's a partnership between Lexington Fayette Urban County Government and VCN. The reason it's a partnership is because something I have learned in doing this program and interacting with lots of people is everyone is different. You can have the exact same broken hip on the right side with arthritis in your shoulders, and no 2 people are going to have the same deficits stemming from that. They may not be able to walk, or they may be able to walk. They may walk with a limp, or they may have to have a wheelchair. But every person has to have an individual assessment, because if you don't treat the person as an individual, you're going to wind up doing things they don't need. So I have learned, and especially, you know, when I got this position, I asked to meet with Theresa. Well, actually, I talked with Theresa and Sam, and I met with them, and it really opened my eyes to visual impairment and the varying degrees that people have in their vision. Some people, as talking to Theresa and talking to Sam, I got an appreciation for just making it brighter doesn't solve things for a lot of people. It can also make it harder to see if you put bright lights in the wrong place. Different color lights may help different color people. So the government realized they needed somebody who had a medical background to go in and do assessments with people in a way that made it individual to that specific person. So instead of saying, okay, we're going to put grab bars and we're going to put door openers in every house, they hired someone to go in, and that's me, to do an individual evaluation. And that's why the city is partnering with a medical-based company to execute this grant. So what the grant provides, what does it do? Well, they say, the way they say it is low cost, high impact home modifications. And what they mean by low cost, high impact is we can't come in and remodel your bathroom. Can't rip your tub out and give you the walk-in tub. Can't rip your door out and put in, you know, a sliding door. Those things are beyond the scope of the program. What is in the program is ramps to your door, which is a big thing. Lots of people need ramps. Grab bars, motion activated lighting, so that you don't have to worry about flipping the light on and off. Probably in most of the projects we've done so far, we've put lighting along the floor and along the steps to give an outline of where the steps are, and to illuminate the floor to create contrast, so that if you're walking, you can see things that are in the floor. And we make those things automatic and timed, so that you don't have to worry about flipping the light switches on and off. So that's what we mean by low cost, high impact. We do bath benches, we do raised commode seats, we do, lots of people have the sliding glass doors that slide back and forth on their tubs with the little metal track and all of that. I hate those. Hate them, hate them, hate them, hate them, hate them. I've had so many people as they grew older and their balance got worse, trying to step over those tracks, falling into the doors, and the doors come off track, then they break, and then they produce an injury that's oftentimes really, really bad. And also, I don't care how many times you tell people that's not a grab bar. If it's there and you're stepping out over the toilet, you're going to use it as a grab bar. So we replace those oftentimes, take them out, put in a shower curtain, those kind of things. This program is time limited, so it started in November of last year. It is going to end in May of 2028. So if you know somebody, or if you yourself can benefit from the program, the sooner you apply to the program, the better. Because it's getting crowded. It's getting more and more people accessing the program. So I hope that if you know people, you get the word out quickly. But it's going to last for 3 years. The goal is that we'll serve 200 households. And that's what we're well on the way to doing. We hope that we accomplish that before the 2028. So again, who can apply? If you're 62 or over, if you live in Fayette County, and if you have a certain income, you can apply to the program. When you apply, I come out, when you call about the program, I come out, I bring papers that have the document list that you have to get to apply to the program. We talk about it. When you have all those documents gathered, I come out and we complete the application together. The application goes to the city, so it doesn't leave Lexington. It just goes to the city, and what they do is they verify your income, they verify that you live here, and then they verify your identity. So those are, when I ask for documents for this program, and the city, everyone said the documents. When I ask for the documents, that's their purpose. Now, we need to have a driver's license or a photo ID, some type of identification that has your picture on it and is official. It can be a passport, it can be anything like that. Have to have your social security card and copy it. It's a few other things like that, but basically we're just proving who you are, where you live, and your income. It doesn't matter if you rent. We've done several projects with renters. We just have to get the landlord's permission. So we have a form in this packet where we get the landlord to sign off on us doing the work that we're going to do. Now, probably to go through some of the specific things that we're doing, grab bars and handrails are probably the #1 thing that we do. Grab bars in the bathroom. We can do multiple bathrooms in the home. Honestly, we put a lot of grab bars on the entryway to homes. People stepping in over a threshold. We do grab bars there. We do grab bars in bathrooms. Another thing that a lot of people have really liked, and I get really good feedback on, is we put a bar beside the bed, where when you swing your legs over the bed and you stand up, there's a bar that's right there that you can hold on to. I call it a bed rail, but everybody in their mind gets a picture of a hospital bed rail, and it's about 12 to 14 inches wide, so it's not a bed rail, but it sits beside the bed and it helps you stabilize when you stand up. Ramps are another thing a lot of people are very interested in. This program does aluminum ramps, not in-ground wooden ramps. And the reason is, if you were to move from where you are now to somewhere else, we want you to be able to take the equipment with you and try to see if that it will work in your next landing spot. We've done a lot of motion-activated lighting, switching the wall light switch to a motion-activated switch, so that when you're walking into a room, if you're carrying something, you don't have to elbow the light switch to get it to come on and off. It comes on automatically. We do non-slip flooring. We've done a lot of switching showers to handheld showers with bath benches or bath transfer seats, where you can come in and sit down and slide across into your bathtub. Instead of having to stand on one foot, balance yourself and step across the threshold to the tub. And then a lot of risers to toilets. If you have ever had a hip problem, you can understand that a chair that's high is so much easier to get out of and so much less painful if you're having hip or back pain. A lot of times we'll take a regular toilet and either take that toilet out and put in a tall toilet or put a raised commode seat on top of it. So those are some of the modifications that we do. People have asked for different modifications. We've modified windows so that people could open the windows up and down easier. We've done doorways where we put automatic door openers. If you have a walker, you're trying to get through a door. Oftentimes, if it's a storm door, it's coming back on you. You're having to push it off of you and push it off of you and push it off of you. There is a simple little door cylinder that you can put on the door where you just touch a button and you open the storm door and it stays open. And then you get your walker inside, you just reach back and touch the storm door and it closes automatically. And that is, I really try to get people who have mobility deficits to use that, because there's so often you say, well, I get in and out just fine, but then you don't count on, okay, I'm carrying one sack of groceries, I'm juggling the keys, I'm trying to get this walker through there. Yes, you can do fine if you don't have other things making the problem more complicated. But my job is to try to help you think about the times where it's not going to be fine. And in this job, it's so funny and this has been throughout my career, but you will ask someone, well, you have any trouble getting in and out of the bathtub? It's like, oh, honey, no, I have got that solved. I know, you won't believe what I do to get in the bathtub. That always scares me to death. That sentence scares me to death because the next sentence out of my mouth is, okay, well, let's go look in the bathroom. Now you got my curiosity up. And they'll have like 2 telephone books sitting beside the tub, and they step on the telephone books and step across. And literally, I had somebody. You can tell how long I've been doing this. I'm talking about like the big thick telephone books. They haven't been around for like decades. No. But people will. The great thing about working with people is as things get challenging, people oftentimes rise to the challenge, right? They figure out ways to get it done. And especially people who are like us in this room, some of us, over 62. It seems like they're just built to say, yeah, it's tough, but I still got to do it. It's still got to get done, so I got to figure out a way to do it. And that has been really helpful to me as a therapist, because some of the best and most creative ways to do things are things I've learned from my patients. But then there's the dangerous stuff. And so you have to get people to recognize, well, that's great, but these telephone books are kind of tearing a little bit, and they've been wet, and you see that they're wet. There's a little bit of mold. What if I just got you a step or a bench that came out over the tub so you could come down, sit on the bench, and then slide across it like a church pew? And they were like, well, I guess that would be easier. In my mind, I'm thinking, why you wouldn't jump on that, I don't know. But like I say, people adapt and overcome, and it's a great skill. But sometimes you got to call people, you got to rein them in. You got to say, I don't think we need to do that anymore. The beginning of the process, if you were to call and say, hey, I want you to come out. I'm having a little trouble getting in and out of the bathtub and on and off the toilet. The beginning of the process, I've already told you, is filling out the application. We do that. After that's complete, then we sit down and I talk to you about, okay, well, where are you having problems? And I always ask when we're doing the first meeting, I say, now for the next week, when you go throughout your house, if you're doing something and you say, I just dread doing that, or if you say, man, I wish there was a better way to do that, that's probably a sign that it's probably not safe. And if you don't get me to look at it, get together with somebody else and say, is there a better way that I could be doing this where it wouldn't cost me so much energy and it wouldn't feel so awkward. But I would come out after we do the application and you're accepted, and we talk about where you're having your specific problems. And again, I've learned to say, if you say, yeah, you know, I have a little trouble with getting in and out of bed, but not a lot. I'll say, okay, well, let's go in there and look. Let's go in there and see you get in and out of bed and see how that works. And then I show you equipment that I think may help. Anything that we identify, I write down and I take pictures. And when we identify the equipment that you need, everything that we identify and everything that you need in your home is paid for through the grant. Okay, so if it's something that is within the scope of the grant, let's say a bath bench, motion activated lighting, doorway, automatic door holder, the city pays for the equipment. The city pays a contractor to come in and install the equipment. Then the city pays for a housing inspector to come out and inspect the installed equipment to make sure it was done correctly. And then I come out as the final person and make sure that it fits you specifically. So nothing that you get through this program costs the homeowner anything, except your time. It does cost you your time, and it does cost you, whatever you need to get the documents together. So there is some work to it. It's not, the getting the documents together. A lot of people, that's the biggest delay in doing this program, is getting this. People say, yeah, I got my social security card, and then they open the drawer, then they open the second drawer, and then the third drawer, and then they go into the hallway, pull the thing down on the secretary, and they can't find it. And it takes a while to replace those things. But that's been the biggest hurdle to the program, is people getting their documents together. But if you're 62 and older, and you live in Lexington, and you have a certain income, when you anything you get through that program is going to be paid for by the grant. So I've given you some examples of adaptive equipment that we do. One thing I would say, yes, ma'am.
As a totally impaired vision person, do you install the doorbell?
We have not yet, but yes, we would do that. Yeah, the light. What type of? Well, first of all, tell me what type of doorbell, because you may educate me.
Just the doorbell, when you push the button, it'll make a sound. If I'm in the bedroom and I would hear it, I would hear it. Not the Ring doorbell with the camera.
Yeah, but
because the camera's going to do me no good,
right.
Because I can't see the person on the other side. But if I hear that doorbell, I will know somebody's at my front door, and I'm having a lot of issues with that. Or people are knocking too soft, or they're coming to the door and I'm not able to hear them. And one of those doorbells cost me $80, and it fell off.
Oh gosh.
I no longer have a doorbell.
Yes, that is something that would fall within the scope of the program. Yes, that would fall within the scope of the program. What I was going to say, yes, Theresa.
Is this only for people that own their own home, or does it work
No.
for people that have rental?
No, it's
apartments?
rent or own. If you rent, the landlord has to give us permission. But in this program, like I said, what we do is based on what the assessment, what you and I talk about, that falls within the scope of the program. So yes, we could do one of those doorbells. That would be within the scope of the program. Yes, Theresa.
Just in that situation, one option could also be the Ring doorbells do work with the Alexa devices. So if you've got an Alexa in the bedroom and one in the kitchen, and no matter where you are, if you ring that Ring doorbell, it will, Alexa will say, there's somebody at the door, you'll hear the ding dong and there's someone at the door, and it works as an intercom. You can tell the Alexa to answer the doorbell, and that way you don't have to open the door to ask, who is it? What are you here for? For safety reasons, a lot of people are going to that. Our doorbell out here works that way, and it's set up to activate all of our Alexa devices throughout the office, so anyone can answer it and ask who's here without having to open the door for safety reasons. It works as an intercom, in other words.
Yeah, and the one thing I would say is the contractors that do the work, this program goes through the housing authority of the city. So the limiter on an Alexa type installation would be their contractors may not do the interfacing of things with an internet driven device. I'm not sure. That is something certainly I could ask. But you know, a lot of the stuff, well, almost all the stuff that we've done has been things that could be done by a general contractor. So if it is going to call for a skill set that is beyond what a general contractor could do, I'm not saying we couldn't do it, but I can't guarantee that we could do it.
I was just making a suggestion
Yeah.
because it is not only just a regular doorbell, but it adds that layer of safety, especially for people who are seniors and you have somebody knocking at your door and you don't know who it is and you don't want to open it. It allows you to answer it from a different location in the house, so you're away from the door and safely finding out who's there before you go to the door and open it. Just a suggestion.
Yeah, yeah. And it's, you know, those devices have opened up so much more safety and assistance that can be rendered to people. It really is. They really are great. So I mean, that's a very good suggestion. I'm laughing inside because I used to show up at people's door and to do therapy, and a lot of people weren't real happy about doing therapy right after surgery. They wanted to avoid it, and especially back in the day at 1 o'clock, One Life to Live came on. And I would knock on people's door, and I had one lady, she said, "You know better than this. It's 1 o'clock. One Life to Live is on." And I said, I need to come in. We need to do the therapy. Your hip's gonna get stiff. But I'll sick the dog on you. And I know you ain't got no dog. Open the door. And so, yeah. And then I always tell them, "Does your preacher know you watch this show?" And they would laugh, and we would say, "I'd say, let's just watch this for a minute. Well, I'm gonna tell your preacher what's on here." So. But yeah, it is with the program doing things that allow people to reduce their risk. As you get older, that the impact of a fall, and I could give you statistics on mortality rates 5 years after a fall, and they're all depressing, so I'm not doing that. What I'm going to tell you is you just need to avoid that fall as much as you possibly can. Yes, Theresa?
Do you know if any other communities around here, any of the other cities or counties have a program like this? Scott County, Richmond, or Jessamine County?
No, this is to my knowledge the only. So they have been awarding these grants slowly but surely throughout the country. I think the first series of grants was in 2021, and there were 15 cities. And then this series of grants went to 2024 because it was the next 3-year cycle. And Lexington was the only city in Kentucky, I believe, that got this. However, if you know someone who lives in those counties, there are programs like Ramp Up and CATS Assistive Technology. If you know somebody that needs home modifications, but either they're not going to qualify due to income, or they are going to be outside of Lexington, they can still call that number. I know a lot of smart people, so I can get you information on resources for ramps and specific types of equipment that you could access even if you didn't live in Fayette County. Yes, Susan?
Yes, I was just going to ask about grab bars. If somebody needs a grab bar, how is it determined where that grab bar goes? Do you make that?
That is an excellent question. Okay. Yes. if I had candy, I'd give it to you. In Sunday school, when the kids answer correctly, I give them a Jolly Rancher. So next time I'll bring Jolly Ranchers. But everybody refers to the ADA, the Americans with Disabilities Act. That has a height that you're supposed to put grab bars, but we're all getting away from that because the height was set based on World War II soldiers' measurements. And obviously we're all taller, we're all heavier. So what I do is I carry a grab bar in my truck, a 20-inch grab bar, and I have you sit down on the commode, and then I say, okay, reach out where you want that grab bar. And I put the grab bar there and I let you practice. I just hold on to it, I let you practice grabbing onto the grab bar, and we measure where you need the grab bar. If you're reaching way up, I might disagree with you. I might say, no, wait a minute, why are you doing that? But I've had people, like I had one lady wanted hers really low. And she said, no, I want it down here. And so asking her the question, okay, well, why do you want it down there? She then communicated to me that she has to lean on her elbow on the grab bar to push up. She can't use just her hand because her wrist is so arthritic. So that's one of those things where if I had insisted on it being at an ADA level, I would have done a disservice to her. So that's, and while we're on the subject of grab bars, please, 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 if you know anybody that has the suction cup grab bars that they sell at Walgreens or Walmart, if you can steal them, steal them. You'll be doing them a favor because they are going to fail. It's not if they're going to fail, it is when they're going to fail. And when they do, most of the time they're not going to come off the wall. They're going to sit there and they're going to pretend that they're safe and they're holding on to that wall tight until you grab a hold of them. Then they're just going to let you go right to the floor. So if you know anybody that wants to use those grab bars, please try to talk them out because it truly is not good. Yes, ma'am.
If you have a 1960s bathroom that's still in good shape with the ceramic tile, how difficult is it to put in a permanent, good, secure grab bar on ceramic tile?
It's doable, but you need a contractor that knows what they're doing. Okay? It is doable. I've done it myself, but you have to have a contractor that knows what they're doing because one, when you drill through tile, it takes a special bit. You have to use a masonry bit, not a regular bit. Two, you have to use a hammer drill, which is a different, well, it's a different setting on most drills. And you have to be absolutely sure you're going to hit a stud. And so those are things that carpenters are very, very well versed in, that your just run-of-the-mill person is not necessarily going to be able to do with skill. And
That's the suction bars.
Yeah.
And I don't use them to pull up, I
Yeah.
use them to just stabilize.
Yeah.
But still, I know they're not, they slip,
yeah,
they're just not the safest option.
yeah, I've had a lot of repeat customers off of the suction cup thing. And I just, you just, I realize that there is a time where it's better than nothing. But really, if it is at some point it's going to fail, it's almost not better than nothing. So.
Speaking of that style bathroom, and I don't want to remove the bathtub. I've got another walk-in, so I can leave the bathtub for future resale. Although I've really looked closely at a walk-in tub, and it's just not workable. Not affordable, not workable.
Yeah.
It would work for me, but with his long legs, it wouldn't help both of us.
Yeah.
So, but the cut downs that I've seen
Yeah, the cutouts.
in the side of your old cast iron tub, are those pretty safe to not leak?
Yes, they're pretty safe. I'm comfortable saying that. I've had about 6 people do those. I'm comfortable saying they're pretty safe to not leak. The issue that you have, if you have a house, and my house is 65 years old.
Yours is 1964.
Ours is 66. The
That's
problem,
for retirement now.
do what?
Your house is ready for
Yes,
retirement.
not only the house's owner is pretty much ready too. But when you start sawing, and vibrating all the plumbing, that can generate a lot of issues. Like this program that I work with, they won't do that because they've had too many times where they've sawed the tub, and while they're doing that, they've rattled some fitting loose back in the wall, and then there's a water leak, and all of a sudden there's a water leak in the wall, and so, you know, it's like every homeowner, you go to fix one thing and you have to fix the thing behind it, and you have to fix the thing ahead of it, so.
We've already had that wall out on the plumbing put behind it, so that, I'm glad to hear you say
Yeah.
that could be an issue.
Yeah, you have to be, in walk-in bathtubs, you know, I was around when they first came out. The first 4 patients I had that got walk-in bathtubs, all 4 of them tried to have them undone. Nobody thought about the fact that you had to sit in that tub naked and freeze to death while it's filling up. Then once it fills up, and it's taken so long to fill up, and you're sitting in that bathtub in that warm water, and you have to go use the bathroom, you can't get out. You can't open that door unless you're going to create a tidal wave in your own bathroom.
40 to 60 gallons.
40 to 60 gallons of water. So you're going to have to crawl out over the top to go use the bathroom. And for me, that would be a big thing. I would not want to be doing that.
We had an opportunity to buy a $9,000 jacuzzi for $1,200.
Wow.
And I called our friends at that construction, and he was so kind. He said, I can put it in for you, but you will freeze your jacuzzi.
Yeah. And they've changed some things about that. But as people are leaving.
Your left, sweetie.
Yeah, here, I got you. You go and grab on my arm. Yeah. So as people are leaving, let me hit that one more time. How old do you have to be?
Over 62.
All right, good deal, Jolly Rancher for you. And where do you have to live?
Lexington.
I'll let you go. The wall's right to your left. All right. And lastly, let's see, over 62. And what's the last thing?
Income.
63,500. There you go. Income limit. I'm sorry about this phone. True story. I did a television interview on this same thing, and I walked in, and the guy said, "Hey, can you turn your phone off so that it doesn't go off while we're doing this interview live on television?" And I pulled the phone out, and I said, "Now my kids usually do that. Here, you did it."
Oh, no.
I literally did not know how to turn my own phone off. It was terrible. They got a big kick out of that, though. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am. Pam.
Okay. I have a question about the flooring. My house was built in the 1950s, and I think the same linoleum it was built with is still there, but the coating is kind of wearing and it's slippery.
Yeah.
So how do you handle flooring issues?
So there's a line there. Okay, so we can't do home remodeling. We can't do home maintenance, but we can do modifications. So depending on the size of the floor and depending on the level of risk to you, we can possibly do it, possibly replace the linoleum, but that's an iffy one because if it's just old, then we can't do that under this program.
So how do you do the anti-slip flooring?
So that's a good one. So the anti-slip, we can do non-skid strips on the floor. We can add those kind of things. We can do, and I'm not saying that we haven't done some flooring, but typically it's been flooring like wood flooring that's warped, or transitions that are really different. Like there's, you got tile that's going to a wood floor, and it's a big transition. We've done things to make those better. So it's one of those things where you'd almost have to look at it to see if I can justify it by saying that it has degraded to a level that it's a fall risk because there's parts of it that are bubbled up or that are. I've done that a lot, but just wear and tear, that's hard to get through. And so the city guys come out and they're checking. So there are other housing authority programs that may address that better, but that's my best answer to that question. Yes, ma'am. Susan.
motion center.
So what I do, probably 90% of the projects I've done so far, the lights on the doorway and on the path to get to the doorway, I can add new lights on a path to get to the doorway. I can replace the light at your doorway with a motion sensor light, but and I could probably do one that illuminated the driveway, but like lights on the corners of the house that were just for security, probably couldn't do those. Yeah. Because that would be more of a home remodeling thing than it would be specifically to reduce your fall risk.
Kind of safety.
Yeah. Now, to reduce you getting knocked on the head, it's a good idea, but it's just not covered in the program.
Okay.
So.
Well, what about low lighting issues? Because with my vision issues, low lights is very hard for me to see it.
I have definitely replaced I have put in, I've got a project going right now where the stairway, the lighting was like the 1950s Brady Bunch glow light. And it was just enough light to make it dangerous. And so we took that whole thing out and put in LED. But that brings up a good point in that were I to do this with you, we would really have to delve into what is the best lighting for you. Because that LED, the person that I'm doing that for, she does have a visual deficit, but I made very, very clear to her, or she had to make very clear to me what it was that made vision, or made her environment better, made her see better in the environment. Through working with specifically Theresa and Sam and this organization, even at 61, I'm much better at evaluating what will help or not help a person with visual deficits now than I was 6 months ago. I mean, truly, and I tout this place all the time. If you have a visual deficit, I believe that being here and being in this group is extraordinarily beneficial. So I really do. When I sat down with Theresa, I said I just need to be better at doing this and evaluate, because when you are medically trained, you're not really, unless you go into a very specific part of rehabilitation. Visual deficits are, well, you just can't see very good. I mean, that's pretty much the way it's described. And you just need to make sure there's bright lights and contrast. Well, that's not the answer. And, for 40 years of my practice, I'm sorry to say, it probably was my answer, but now I know better. So thank you, Theresa. Appreciate the education. Yes?
Tony, if you have the big stairwell, open stair on one side going down, and then you've got the big baseboard on the other side going down, and in the future there might be a lift chair put on that side.
Yes.
Does the lighting that you do, is that something that you would do in advance, knowing that you could light a
Well, there
stair
would be a
that
different
would work?
choice. I might use a light strip, like the flexible light strips, and have them tacked along the.
So that could be removed?
Yeah, so it could be removed, and you could replace it. Stair lifts are a great thing. You can't do them through my program, but there are now other options than stair lifts that are really interesting. There's a slidable bar, like a turnstile, that you can grab hold of and advance and pull and advance up a step and pull, and it's about mid-chest level. Really interesting
I
stuff.
spent a lot of time about a year and a half in wheelchair, and it didn't go down my steps at all. And then he took very creative, took a 4-pronged wide base cane and added a piece of wood to that, and it made me a half-step cane.
Yeah.
And I used that for quite a few months.
Yeah.
Because I looked online and saw there was.
Yeah, the stairway canes.
And he just used scrap lumber and modified.
That's great.
To make this, I don't want a lift chair, so it would be absolutely necessary, because I would say we could use.
Yeah.
And those patients to go up and down the steps in a lift chair and lose my legs. But
Well-
I do know that that is a potential future thing.
interesting thing around stair lifts, you have to have an elevator license to put them in. You cannot put in a stair lift unless you are licensed to put in elevators. So.
And I gotta know what they're doing. I had a friend put one in, and they extended it to a lot of us who went down in the car. They had to cut the shed, have her brother come in and build a platform to get off the chairlift, and then use a handrail to get down 2 more steps. It's tricky.
Yeah, it is. Those things are complicated. Well, thank you all very much. It's been great.
Who
If you,
do we call for your program?
I have got cards that I'll put up here that have, if you would like one, raise your hand, I'll bring it to you.
Can you announce it, cause we are recording?
Yes, the number to get in touch with the home modification program is 877-439-0262. 877-439-0262, and that's going to get you to Bluegrass Care Navigators Transitional Care Department. And if you say home modification, they're going to know exactly what you mean. Yes, ma'am. Were you holding your hand up for a card?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I'm going to put this microphone down. I am plenty loud to speak without.
Let's show Tony some appreciation. Thank you.
I'm opening the package with you. I'm trying to. Trying to open it. Okay. The transitional care is where you would get, if you just say home modification, that'll get you where you need to go. Anybody else need? Oh, yes, ma'am. Do we know each other? You look so familiar with me. Did I see you out at Lexington Senior Center? Did you go there much? That's where I know. I knew you. Yes, ma'am. I'm ready.
There's no way to modify the ribs. I said, there's no way to modify the ribs.
You're welcome, Laura. It's good to see you. Yeah.
Well, I would hope I wouldn't. Sometimes I get muscle cramps.
Oh, I know.
You do?
I get a lot of cramps. I have arthritis pretty bad. And it's no fun in the winter, I tell you.
Oh, I know.
Oh my God.
You know what? We have one thing. You might not want to do is get a humidifier. Because it'll take the humidity out of the air. That's what makes you hurt. I tend to hurt sometimes. I hurt in different places. And it seems like many times I hurt in the knees. That's when it starts. And I don't know why. Yeah. But I like having this humidifier, but I'm not sure how Rod feels about it. It's kind of big, but I think it's good. Yeah. And it also works with dehumidifier. She has arthritis, and I said, don't take the humidity out. It helps you.
If anyone got in there, have to make that decision real quick. They can't carry it over to them. Fall.
I wanted to get a car today.
Coming next Thursday, Charles. I'll talk to Bluegrass.
You all have a good
All right.
Well, you too. I can see
I'll see you tomorrow.
3:30.
Yep.
Call on that. All right.
Dwayne, do you remember the address of that Western Village?
I don't.
Okay, well, I have it written down. I just wanted to know. I wondered if you remembered it.
Get out Harrodsburg Road, go out, straight out, keep going, and this.
Were you there last year?
Yes, I was.
Yeah. You know, that would be, if I ever had an assisted living place to live in, that's where I want to live.
Yeah, it's a nice facility.
It really is. We've got so many activities and we bring a lot of professional, really quality education. I would love that. I really would.
It's not something that you could do just like a station.
Other factors besides your central nervous system.
Can we take that cup to some point?
How are you doing?
You want me to take that to the car? Yeah.
You had the players to play 5 years.
Yeah, I gave you 2.
Which one?
No, I don't want
I can see we're having words.
Yeah. Did you hear generator recently? Did you hear generator kind of recently?
Really enjoyed being here. Thank you for the opportunity.
Well, it's not this past Sunday, it's on the Sunday before that. I tried to call it this past Sunday, but nobody answered.
Tony,
Yes, ma'am.
3 ladies.
Yes.
I've got elders that I need to take care of.
There you go. And thank you. Excellent questions. You're welcome. Thank you. I really enjoyed it. All right. You want me to help you get to that door?
It would, but it's a.
You mind your way here?
Not really.
Want me to sit here till you find your walker?
I've got the plastic bed and a half with bedding.
Can I get you, help you get your walker?